I'd like to turn to the finance director. Jack, that number that was stated at $500,000 in this letter, what is the number really?
Madam Chairman, if I may. The current balance of invoices that currently exist in the finance department total $127,000. I think even the fiscal supervisors acknowledged that this is based on a conversation that came from the third-party administrator that they were holding some number of claims.
Okay.
I don't think that the city can be held responsible for claims that we have not even received. We can't pay for them if we don't have them. But currently in the finance department, it's $127,000, not $500,000.
Thank you. And of course, we addressed the $638,000 judgment that was levied against the city. You know, just to be a little bit more specific, again, these were things that happened before I became mayor. And the financial supervisor, the auditor staff, described a scenario where the city did not pay the traffic camera company some amount of money. And then that traffic camera company that we were doing business with at the time went bankrupt. And the new traffic camera company, ATS, bought this old company. So then the debts that were owed to that old traffic company became debts owed to this new company, ATS, which acquired the old company. The city, several years ago, some of you may remember, we did not collect our own traffic camera revenues for about a year and a half, perhaps 2 years. It all went to the traffic camera company because there was this outstanding debt to the old company, which was bought by the new company. But now it appears that the old company there was still a little piece of this old company that still exists. And that little piece of the old company that still exists out of bankruptcy has a receiver. And the receiver is a lawyer who tries to go after things that the lawyer, the receiver, believes that are owed to that company. East Cleveland appeared on that list. So that receiver took it into court in Rhode Island. So we were being sued in Rhode Island, even though we believe that we've already paid off this debt to the new company, ATS, years ago. In Rhode Island, the judge in the case would not allow our law director to represent us in Rhode Island. Typically, a judge in a case where the entities from another state allows the lawyer in to represent the interest. So normally our law director would be allowed in Rhode Island court or whatever state court to represent us. It's got some funny Latin name, but I don't know. Pro vice, right. That was denied. So effectively, this judgment of $638,000 was leveled against us as a default judgment. There was no lawyer in Rhode Island representing us, in part because the judge did not allow our law director to represent us there. So then it's on us to get some other counsel. So we're still working on that. So when we say we're going to appeal it or even ask for a reconsideration, I mean, that's pretty deep. And the circumstances behind it are pretty deep too. So to include that in this letter, I understand that it's there, but there are a lot of things that can happen between now and then. So, and I just want to go through these numbers because they're big and daunting. The third number, Madam Chair, in the same paragraph that I'd like to go to is the $950,000 that was estimated as revenue. We engaged in some cuts over the past couple of months that were to offset that loss or non-appearance of revenue. And I believe in discussions with the financial supervisors, we pretty much cut enough to compensate for that loss of revenue or come very, very close to it. So I just wanted you to know that while these things come up, to explain just a couple of the circumstances, talk about the accuracy or inaccuracy of some of the numbers, as well as the fact that we have done some things within the operation designed to compensate for the loss of revenue.
Madam Chair? Yes. Still, it does not negate the fact that and don't ever think that I'm overlooking that we have a debt that we have to pay, and we don't have the money. We need the money. We need the revenue, and we need to be working on a plan an economic plan to suffice the revenue that we need. And I think basically I've talked to the chief of staff, Mr. Mike Smedley, and they're supposed to be working on some things, and he hasn't talked to me yet about that. But first and foremost, we need revenue. And the things that are in this plan is a time thing. It's a time thing. So my thing with you, Madam Chair, is, and I'm going to ask, what is happening with the bond market? In one of your letters, you was talking about that. And we're not going out to the bond market, or what is happening with
Oh,
that?
okay. I'm glad that you brought that up because it was to be brought up, whether now or later, and it really segs quite nicely into C, under new business, a potential renegotiation of the outstanding OPWC loans, and particularly the repercussion of missed payments. I understand from Jack that there is the renegotiation process is going forward. I believe the intent is to go to council, correct me if I'm wrong, because while Ohio Public Works Commission, OPWC, has asked for Jack's signature, he does not feel, and I can't blame him, he does not feel that he has the authority to obligate the city into 30 years worth of these loans. What they're doing in renegotiating is re-amortizing, because they're extending the length of the loan. The loans themselves are zero interest, so normally in a renegotiation there may be some play in the interest rate and the terms of the length. But what OPWC is saying is that, okay, you still missed July's payment, but, and January, by the way, is just around the corner. But we need to know, will you accept their renegotiation plan? So there is a plan that will go before the council. And if council signs off on it, then it can go forward. But in the part about the repercussions part is, here's what happens. Normally when state agencies are owed a debt from another entity, the Attorney General's office will come in and they'll do the collection of it. So if for any reason, I think I saw and I don't know that the judiciary takes advantage of this, but the Ohio Judicial Conference is owed some money. I think I saw, I'm not going to look at it, but there were some entities, state agencies that were owed money, so they would collect. Public Works Commission can choose to do that, but their results are less than desirable in that process. Also, when they engage the Attorney General's office, the Attorney General's office includes their fee on top of that. So it actually ends up costing the person, the entity that's past due even more, because the Attorney General's office will then add on what is due for their work. So OPWC prefers to renegotiate. But they also have in section 164.05C of the Ohio Revised Code, they have the ability, all right, we're leaving.
I'm trying to get him to cool down the place
Oh,
by
thank
turning
you.
off the air
We
lights.
have- yeah.
Give him a minute to
Sure.
adjust.
I've got to go.
That's
There's a
fine.
representative of Treasurer Mandel who's here,
Sure.
Josh Press, and I know I'm leaving you with a bare quorum, but
That's fine.
thank you.
You go right ahead, thank you.
Josh, the salt truck item I'm leaving here for Josh.
Okay.
Josh Press. Sorry.
What that piece of code, what that section division of codes allows is that it allows Public Works to renegotiate the loan only once. And if that entity is found delinquent again, they can then certify to the county auditor, it would be the fiscal officer in this county, that they are owed the balance of the notes, of the loans, which is about 2.9-ish million, and that it's certified against the undivided local government funds. So the question then becomes, with the note, if you are borrowing up to the limit, which would then result in, and the limit being 50% of the revenues that you would receive, the Public Works Commission, where do they stand in the process? Do they have first lien? Do they have second lien? Sounds like second lien, but is the state willing to allow them to take second lien? Would they not prefer first priority? So this is the question that we have. First of all, the negotiation of it and the what ifs. And this is a discussion that's not going to take place with me at the table. It's going to take place with my boss's boss and their bosses and the auditor's boss. So that's where we stand right now with the notes.
And I appreciate the explanation at the end after my question.
Okay.
But I also didn't expect that until I asked the question. I expected to find that there would be some movement, and now we have to go back and renegotiate. But what would be the outcome of that renegotiation time-wise?
Time-wise, I'm not sure. I think they could do it. There's also in your packet, and you happen to have it right up in front, it's a reamortization of the loans. And there's a series of loans. And they would take they figured out per loan, reamortizing it, and then came up with a total. Currently, I believe the city is paying $113,000 or so every 6, yes?
They were $123,500 a half.
Okay,
But this Jack sent the letter to PwC,
okay,
and they are reamortizing, and the payments, I put it in your packet,
yes.
down to $48,700.
738, right.
So they've dropped it about $75,000 a half.
And the question then becomes, where do we lie, state? What do we do, state? We've got an extremely important program. I mean, we obviously, we acknowledge and we appreciate the importance of this city, there is no doubt. But we've also got a loan program that all of the entities in the state partake of. And the loan program is a revolving loan program. So for every entity that doesn't make payments, that's another entity that may not get a loan. And that's a real question that the state has got to figure out. That's what do we do, state? Where do we stand? I mean, and there's a lot of iterations in between. It could be something, okay, so, you know, we have to make sure that our part, the 2.9, can be received. So maybe we don't issue the 6.8, we issue the 6.8 minus 2.9. I don't know. I mean, the discussions have not begun, other than we have a concern. So I couldn't even begin to tell you.
And I think, and I appreciate what you're saying, but that still leaves us with between a rock and a hard place. And as far as the city having to ask for this loan, and to me, it seems like the auditor, or make sure that I'm saying it right, should have at least told us about this process now. I mean, I'm getting there. Am I wrong? for
Was that a
the,
renegotiation?
yes.
Well, I mean, I think there's been people that have been CC'd on the emails.
We spoke with OPWC,
Yeah.
and the girl's name is Abby, that we've been dealing with. And Abby said, East Cleveland, we're willing to renegotiate. We said, does this go before council? She said, you're not issuing any more debt. Our legal counsel says, we're just re-amortizing it.
Okay, so the council didn't have to see this, but in the ultimate end, now,
Oh, the city council or the commission?
the city council.
Well, I would hope that the city council was aware of it. It is something that, you know,
We can absolutely show, I mean, I've got the amortization schedules.
Okay.
It's no more debt. The city
Okay.
has no more debt.
All right.
It's just simply paying it out over a longer period of time, so you
Okay.
have more cash available now.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay, but we,
And a lower rate, that's true.
okay, so, but is that a possibility that we're gonna get it? And I'm still asking if we're gonna get it and when.
get the local government.
Yeah.
Which one, Ms. Thomas, the reamortization or the local government money?
The local government.
I
can't
can't
speak
share
for
it.
that.
So we will get the, so what about the amortization money?
The amortization is good. Jack is doing the paperwork to send in. We made our payment. We're current with our bills.
Okay, so,
Yeah, and we can provide the amortization schedules to
Okay.
council. No new debt. It's nothing
Okay.
new.
all right, as long as my council understands that, and I got one left now.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's a question of, Jack's question is, you know, we're extending the amortization, and if I sign on the line, I'm actually obligating the city 30 years out the road. So, you know, as opposed to whatever the length of the existing. But the other alternative is what? Having to continue to pay more money, which is not affordable, for
Okay.
money per payment.
So Jack wants the council to make that. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I understand.